In other news, this is a ridiculous, an insanely ridiculous story that comes out of South Carolina. Everyone should know the story of Walter Scott, the tragic murder of Walter Scott at the hands of Michael Slager, police officer Michael Slager. Now, before I even start this, it almost slipped my mind. I almost forgot. I actually did forget that Michael Slager has already had a mistrial on the state charges because of one juror out of 12, 11 of whom were white and one was black. One of the jurors held out and just said he could not bring himself to convict Michael Slager. Never mind the evidence. Never mind the fact that he falsified reports. Never mind the fact that he dropped a taser on the scene. Never mind the fact that we saw the video. He could not bring himself to convict a police officer. Well, there's a new development in the federal trial where the attorney for Michael Slager has now used fake news and Donald Trump's usage of that phrase, fake news, as a means of defense in the trial. So there was a motion from federal prosecutors asking that, and this is according to CharlestonCityPaper.com. The journalist who's reporting on this is Dustin Waters, and he's stating that the federal prosecutors asked that arguments regarding the other police shootings and the general conversation in the nation with regard to police shootings be limited in this trial. And so that this trial will focus on Walter Scott and Michael Slager and not bring in other police shootings and other narratives, national narratives around police shootings, because they want, and they fear rather, federal prosecutors are pushing back on the possibility of the defense team using all of these other stories as a way of inciting or eliciting the biases of the jurors. In other words, if a defense attorney could get out there and say, you know, look at this case with well, not Trayvon Martin, because he wasn't killed by the police officer, but look at all these cases and look at there's so many names. There's so many people who have been killed by police officers, black people who have been killed by police officers. It's almost impossible to keep up. But look at the case of Darren Wilson in Ferguson, and look at this case, or this is what the defense attorneys want to do. They want to get out there and say, this is just another example of the media spinning a story against this heroic police officer. And to push back on that possibility, federal prosecutors asked that those cases be limited. This is the context of the story. Now, in response to that, the defense attorneys actually wrote this brief. They said, quote, in contrast to the Department of Justice assertion that attacking the media is meant to play on jurors' biases, Officer Slager should be permitted to point out that stilted and incomplete coverage of the event by the media fueled a national dialogue that assumed Slager was guilty before the jury was selected. He continued. He said, Michael Slager did not volunteer to be the poster boy for officer-involved shootings. He was made into that by the state of South Carolina, the Department of Justice, and the news media. Hold the damn phone. Michael Slager volunteered to be a murderer. Let's just start there, right? Forget about what anyone else says. Forget about anyone's spin. We saw the video ourselves. So if we do nothing else but limit the entire conversation to what is visible in the video and what he falsified in reports, Michael Slager volunteered to be a murderer. You're worried about him being the poster boy of police shootings. Well, if that's the byproduct of this trial, then in his actions, damn it, so be it. But anyway, the defense attorney went on and said, Slager notes that none other than the commander-in-chief has derided the news media for fake news. That is, one-sided presentations designed not to inform, but to inflame passions. So here is Donald Trump making his foray into using this fake news pejorative as a means of getting away with murder. Like literally, they are attempting to help Michael Slager get away with murder by crying fake news. Never mind. Don't believe your eyes. Don't pull up the video for yourself. Don't look at the video and see that he shot a man 9 times in the back as he ran away. No, never mind that. Never mind the fact that you could see in the video that he dropped a taser as a means of covering his ass because he knew what he did was wrong. Never mind the fact that after that, he falsified the report. Never mind all of that, fake news. And President Trump himself is using fake news. So because President Trump uses fake news, then by all means, Michael Slager should be able to use fake news as a means of getting away with murder. The depravity, the depth, and the disgust. I mean, the willingness. And I guess this is what defense attorneys do, right? I'm sorry, attorneys, all the attorneys out there. I guess they're going to reach for everything they possibly can. And you know what? We have a right to call them on their bull. And we have the right, not only the right, but the requirement to say this is a disgusting usage of a disgusting man's propagandistic tools. If you wanted to find a way to make Donald Trump's attack on the media, fake news, even more disgusting, check out Michael Slager's defense attorney.